I miss E3, and unfortunately it's never going to be the same again. Mic drop, video over, we're done. That's a wrap. Video title explained. E3 is like Christmas to gamers. It's something that you look forward to every year when summer was coming up. You be getting out of school, you be getting ready for summertime, beginning of June's coming up. You're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get with my boys, we're gonna get some drinks, we're gonna get some food, we're gonna treat this like it's a Super Bowl, but for gamers, we're gonna get ready for back-to-back non-stop gaming showcases of all the favorite titles that we've been waiting for. But unfortunately, COVID-19 attacked, and it changed everything for good. So if you don't know what E3 is, E3, short for Electronic Entertainment Expo, is a trade event for the video game industry. The Entertainment Software Association, ESA, organizes and presents E3, which many developers, publishers, hardware, and accessory manufacturers use to introduce and advertise upcoming games and game-related merchandise to retailers and to the members of the press. Essentially, before and during the event, publishers and hardware manufacturers usually hold press conferences to announce new games and products. To put it in layman's terms, essentially E3 is like the gamer's Christmas. It's where we get to come together, we get to watch all the cringe in one sitting, we get to see all the great new games coming out, see what's gonna flop, what's gonna be good, the games that nobody asked for, and then the games that we've been waiting like 10 years to get like a remaster, but instead you get Skyrim for the 20th time, but this time it's gonna be on your microwave.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climate.
To me, E3 was just an excuse to never go to work and just spend the entire time sitting at my desk for a whole week, just chatting with the boys, looking at streams, and then having junk food all day. That's essentially my E3. But unfortunately, as time keeps progressing, all good things must come to an end. Well, sort of. E3 was such a great time, and I talk about this like it's now in the history books, which at this point it feels like it. And I gotta share some of my favorite moments from E3 throughout the years. Look at this.
Of walking the streets of the future is really going to be breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
You ready to race? Are you ready to race?
So before COVID even hit, E3 was kind of already like on the downhill. It was kind of starting to work its way down because in 2019, Sony was like, we don't need you, bro. We got our own thing. We're pretty much like Nintendo, but for PlayStation. So we're just gonna make some garbage direct style videos and call it a day. Which in my personal opinion, I don't think they're that great. Every single time Sony announces a new direct type stream, it's kind of disappointing. Like, don't get me wrong, Nintendo's isn't exactly like God tier either, but typically when they make one, you can expect something decent to come out of them. When Sony announces their direct stream, it's kind of like playing Wheel of Fortune, and then you spin the wheel and instead of getting something like Knack 3, you get GTA Remastered Definitive Edition, which was garbage, and it still is. And then once Nintendo started doing their online only direct presentation style, I mean, like, yes, they got pre-recorded streams, and I guess you could say that's cool, but it feels so manufactured, and I understand why, but that's what like takes the fun out of things. Like, gaming has always supposed to been fun, and then when you got these like super souped up corporate style videos, I don't know, it just loses the magic. E3 is just not the same anymore. And also, it didn't help that E3 had like a big database leak, which just pretty much made everyone like lose their trust in E3. That was kind of bad as well too. That kind of started justifying people backing out and making people not want to be a part of the show no more. And then once COVID hit, then E3 just canceled everything for 2020. They came back in 2021, but it was honestly so bad I didn't even know they had a 2021 show. It was extremely forgettable to me, and I was actually blown away. They were supposed to have an E3 show this year, but it never happened. It got canceled again. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, hey, Wasabi, we still got game shows. The spirit's still alive. I'm gonna have to disagree on that one. Like, I get it. We have other game shows. We have the Summer's Game Fest, but that's not the magic, man. Like, I appreciate the thought that there even is a game show still being made that tries to continue that energy and momentum, but it's not it, bro. Summer's Game Fest just it's not it. Now, while I do understand why they do it, I'm not a big fan of having advertisements happen in the middle of my game shows. Like, I don't care how relevant it might be to the show, I just don't give a fuck about advertisements. I don't want it in the middle of my fucking game show. But again, I do appreciate what the Summer Games Fest does. I'm personally just not a fan of it. I believe they have great intentions, but honestly, it's not for me. And then after the Summer's Game Fest, we still have things such as the PC Gaming Show, and then a couple other ones like the Devolver Digital. Pretty cool, kind of. But the only time that the PC Gaming Show really caught my interest was when Persona 4 Golden was announced. And after that, I haven't really enjoyed any of the shows after. But it is what it is. And then on top of that, we still have things such as Gamescom, the Tokyo Game Show, and then the Games Award in the wintertime, which all those shows are all great in their own respective way, but nothing ever carried that same hype, that same momentum as E3. And to just understand how much the name E3 carries, you can just look at each year that E3 isn't actually present, but everyone still calls the week where all the gaming shows start happening, they still call it E3 week, despite E3 not even being there. So that pretty much gives you the idea how much weight that name actually carries amongst all of us. E3 says they're gonna come back in 2023, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm not really optimistic for it. I mean, they might do it, but hey, you know what? They came back in 2021. Maybe they might do it every other year at this point. Essentially, E3 week now is where other developers and publishers try to capture that same magic and energy as E3, but falls hard, and they still fail every single time. With this year's E3 being finished, I just wanted to cover my own thoughts and opinions. As each year's been going by, I have progressively gotten more disappointed as the magic is just gone, and I don't think it's ever coming back. If you want to know how this E3 went, take a look at this from Dunkey. I think it explains it very well.
Video game industry? No. Nuh-uh. Nope. Video games, you just pissed me off. This year's E3 was a goddamn joke, and everyone involved, fuck you. This was the most sellout, embarrassing bullshit I have ever witnessed.
Let's check out.
Let's not. The Rock is worth $320 million. Why is he on here advertising an energy drink before they run a commercial for his movie during a video game expo?
Check this out. An iPhone. Whoa!
Why are Twitch streamers on here pretending like they care about video games?
There were like games in GameCube that were like this.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, what does it remind me of? It reminds me of those like old school GameCube games.
You don't play no games. Go talk about Johnny Depp's trial or some shit.